Hey guys, it's Cynthia with Futures Northwest, and I just thought I would make a quick little tutorial on how to use Classfinder. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the second episode of the podcast, and just as a quick tip, it would be a really good idea for freshman incoming students who are coming to Western to utilize this website and go ahead and look around, mess with it, and get used to it because you're actually going to be using this website every single quarter when you register for classes. They do explain it to you during orientation. An advisor with Western will explain it to you. However, it was still really confusing for me even after. Um, Especially because in my case, the orientation process to this website was really, really quick. And I just thought I'd break it down to you guys and actually show you step by step on what to do. So to go to the website, what you can do is first go to My Western. That should pop up here. And you look down at academic planning tools and it should be the second link. What you could also do, just as a quick thing, is just do WWU Classfinder. And it should be the first link when you Google search it. So that will get you to the same place. So Classfinder usually looks like this with all this down here. They just updated it to have all this. And this is because of COVID right now. So for fall 2020 courses, there is going to be a mix of how material will be delivered. And this just lists off all the options that are going to be, offered with the different classes. And so here they have face-to-face, where the class is going to be taught in person at the time and location that's scheduled. So that will be somewhere on campus. Remote synchronous will be classes that are online. So you do not have to be on campus. However, you do have to meet that class online at the time that is scheduled. And then remote asynchronous is online, and you do not have to meet at a scheduled time online. This is where you're really doing the work at your own time. However, do follow the deadlines of the class. I'm sure the class might have deadlines, but you don't have to meet on a Zoom meeting or anything like that. And a hybrid will be a blend of face-to-face, remote synchronous or asynchronous. It really depends on what class that's for. From what I've heard, I think many science classes with the lab component might be like this. So you're just gonna want to watch out when you're registering for your class and you're looking up classes. Make sure you read what type of method they're going to be offering for that. And then these online classes, that's just online classes that were always meant to be online. And those classes will charge you per quarter. So you just want to make sure you're looking at the charges just in case. So now we can just get into it. So for Classfinder, you have all these little boxes of where you can check off. Term is just the quarter that you are registering for. And in this case, we are just going to keep it for fall 2020 for you incoming freshmen. Other attributes, I have no idea how to use this section actually. I don't think I've ever used this, but I think this is getting more specific to things. I do know this is really specific for first years where it's kind of like a cohort where you take your first year of classes together with other freshman students. I did not do this specifically, but if you're interested in that, you may want to get in contact with a general advisor at Western and talk to them a little bit more about that because I don't have that much knowledge around that. So for this sake, I'm just going to leave it all courses with or without. And here is subject. So here's where you can get specific about the classes that you're searching for. So you could look up accounting, you could look up math, you could look up, Fairhaven specific classes, things like that. And here is where you kind of mess with the timing of the class. If you're looking for classes that are specific during a time or day, I would suggest when you are first looking at classes, especially being a freshman, probably not mess with this as much just because it could limit your options greatly. And I guess as you progress through university and you know you're getting higher in your classes, that's when you can get really picky or with your classes and see when they'll be offered. But in reality, I have never really had to use this at all, but feel free to. I know sometimes there will be 1 credit classes that are offered probably once a week, and you can go ahead and look them up through this. And over here, this is really important to you incoming freshman students, all right? This is the GUR attributes. So GURs, I think I explained that in the second episode of the podcast as well, but GURs are the general university requirements, and these are the core classes that you have to take. And so these are the many subjects of those core classes. And then within those subjects, there'll be a list of classes that relate to the subject, of course. And you can just choose whichever one you want. But you do have to complete the total credit load for those specific subjects. And these are all the subjects. You have ACOM, BCom, LSEI, QSR, and this is just the shortened version, you know, the code to it of what it is. You can read out the full name right here. And right here, I think they just added this on. No, actually, I think this has always been here. I've just never used it, but they've probably added on the new delivery methods because of COVID-19. And here, you just pick and choose professors or instructors. I've also never really used this, but if you're looking for a specific professor for a quarter, seeing if they're teaching a class or not, you could definitely look them up using this. Here you can type in the course number. As you can see here, I've used it. So as an example, let's go with the most basic class for incoming freshmen, and that's English. So here I looked it up, English, make sure that's clicked off. And the course number to English, just because I know it, it is 101. And that's what you would type in as an example. And that way, when you go to search for this class, it will only show up English 101 classes for fall 2020 quarter. And because I did not check off any of this, it will show all the options, even if a class is full. If you want to see classes specifically for this class that are open and not full, you would check off this right here, open sections only. And also, just as a quick little note on this is credit hours. So this is the credit load to classes. So let's say you didn't have anything checked off here, you didn't have anything here, and you just needed a filler class for credits. You could go in and be like, oh, well, I just need 3 more credits and to fill my schedule. And you could just search and it'll give you a list of all the classes with Western that are 3 credits. And then for this sake, I'll just keep it all. So now I want to go into an example again. and I'm going to use classes that are related to freshman students and what they mostly take their first quarter or first year with Western. So I'm going to go ahead and use English 101 as an example because I think most students take that their first quarter here at Western. So you could just search up English 101, and if you did not know the course number, you can leave this blank. And we're going to go ahead and search it up right now. So right here, it will give you a list of all the English classes. And it will even include English classes that are higher up and that are restricted to majors only, because I did not specify which English class I was looking for. So this is just going to look up the whole subject of English. If we go back and make sure this is checked off again, and we go ahead and put 101 because that is the incoming freshman class. You're required to take this class. Here now we'll see that the search results only came up 101 classes. So now we can go ahead and press on one. So let's see one that's open. Okay, so what these red numbers mean is that the class is closed. And with these classes, I'm not sure what's happening. They might not be offering it, but this is a good example right here. That means that they filled up the class, so the class is at capacity. And when the numbers are green, that means that there's still spots left. So this class in total can take 12 people. It still has 2 spots open and 10 people have registered so far. So we're going to use this class as an example. As you can see here, it is remote and asynchronous, and it is a FIG class. So that's what I said earlier. It is a first interest group, I think that's what it's called, but it is only for freshman students. So you don't really have to worry whether or not if you're getting an English 101, I'm pretty sure they're always reserved for freshmen. So you don't have to worry about that. If we go ahead and press right here, it will give you a description of the class. And you can go ahead and close this out. Usually right here, hopefully we could find a class that has it, but you know, everything's changing online. Right here is really where you would see I think the time, yes, the time and the dates of when that class would be. And then right here where it says remote asynchronous, that's where you would see the location. So it might say something like MH115, and that would be Miller Hall 115. So Miller Hall is one of the buildings here on campus, and 115 is the room, and that would be where the class is taking place on whatever days and times it says. And then right here, it says it is restricted to freshmen. And a prereqs right here, it says may not be taken concurrently with English 100. So that means that you cannot take this class, English 101, while taking English 100. You can't take them the same quarter, but you can take them 2 separate quarters. And right here is the professor who is teaching the class. So their name is Katie, their last name is Weed, and this is also the dates of when the class is going to be held through. So it's starting September 23rd and it's ending December 11th. So to add this class, or I guess I want to make another quick note, these numbers right here are extremely important. If you are registering for classes, this is the website that you're going to use to look up the classes for Western. And when you register for classes, you use their CRN code, and that is what this number is right here. So that's just what you use, and I would suggest writing these down somewhere, just so you know and you have them. I think, yeah, you would use the CRN codes through Web4U, which is on the My Western website, and I will make another separate tutorial on how to register for classes and how to use Web4U, so stay tuned for that. But you're gonna want to keep this, and what's cool about Classfinder is that you can actually press on it and it will start making a sheet for you. And another cool thing is that it will also make a schedule down here, and it will tell you if classes overlap with each other. So that means that if a class is on the same day or if a class is at similar times, you cannot register for classes that are that overlap in time in any way. So that's a really great way to see it all play out, and you can even save this to your laptop or computer and you can print it out instead of writing down the code, so you can see already your schedule for that quarter. So we're gonna go ahead and keep this here, and do not press back because it will not save this for you. What you wanna do is return to Classfinder. Hopefully that loads. And then we're gonna go ahead and look up another class. So just make sure that this stays as fall 2020. You don't wanna mix up your quarters. And we're gonna go ahead and search up math. Let's see here. Okay, so these are all the math classes. I think the most common math class that freshmen take would be Math 112. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use Math 112 as an example. So there's one right here that's open. And as you can see right here, it is remote synchronous. So that means it's gonna be taught online and it's gonna meet at certain days and times. It'll also a QSR, and that just means that it's your math component, and that counts as your math GUR credit. And I will go in later and make another video tutorial about GURs and the GUR checklist at another time. So also stay tuned for that if you're confused about that in any way. And then you can see here, it meets every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 9 a.m. to 9:50 a.m. And it does not have a location on campus because it is taught online. It is still open, it still has spaces, it is 5 credits, but it is taught by a staff member, so that could be a grad student. I'm not sure, but most of the time it will have a professor's name. So in this case, if you wanted to use Rate My Professor to look up a professor, in this case you can't because it just says staff. I'm also going to make another video tutorial on Rate My Professor. If you don't know what that is, it's okay. You can go ahead and Google it right now. It's actually really, really cool, and I highly suggest using that anytime you get. So let's go ahead and add it to our, I guess, sheet. So we're gonna press the CRN code, and there you go. It added it for us. And now let's just go ahead and look for another class, because with Western, if you want to be, I guess, labeled as a full-time student, you have to take 12 credits or more a quarter. And I think they will tell you this at your freshman orientation, but they will say that they recommend actually taking 15 credits per quarter. That way you stay on track. I know in my case, I did not take 15 credits a quarter my first year. I think one quarter I took 13 credits, another quarter I took 12. That was just because I had some conflicts with classes. Things just weren't adding up. And so that kind of actually set me behind on credits, and I'd had to take on way more classes a quarter just to catch up on my credit load. I also recommend, if it's possible, if you can take it, take 15 credits a quarter. It's totally doable, but if you are completely okay with staying here a little bit longer, not staying here past the 4 years, that's totally okay too. I want to emphasize that the 4-year college stay and finishing in 4 years is, I guess, kind of a sham. A lot of people actually do not finish in 4 years. A lot of people finish in 6 or 8 years, getting a bachelor degree. So it's not even getting, a higher degree. It's getting a bachelor's degree. It just it takes longer. It just depends on your schedule. It depends on if you take a gap year, if you take a quarter off, if you fall behind on credits like I did. Also, if you get into your major later. It's just all these factors coming into that. But if you can, with your major and what you're interested in, if you can finish it in 4 years, and you just want to bust through it, I suggest doing 15 credits per quarter. So right here, it lists it for us. So we have 5 credits for English, 5 credits for math. So far we have 10 credits total for the fall 2020 quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and look up another introductory class for us. And I'm going to look up a science class, and that counts for your science GUR. I guess a quick little note is that there's 2 GUR subjects for science. There's LCI or LSCI and SCI, sorry. This one is science with a lab component. So you go to class, and then once a week you will meet at another time and you will go to lab. And lab is usually longer than the class time. And SCI is a science class as well, but it is without a lab component. So with Western in particular, they want you to complete 2 labs or 2 science classes with a lab, and then 1 science class without a lab. You can complete 3 science classes with a lab component. So it's totally your choice. At least 2 of them have to have a lab component. I'm pretty sure that's still how it is. I don't think they changed it. But that's just a little quick fact for you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and search up. I also think this is what most freshmen go for, is geology. So we're gonna go ahead and look this up. And I believe this is also, Geology 101. So as you can see here, it is a hybrid. So that means that you might meet, let's see, you might have to meet on campus. No, actually, it says right here. So it's a hybrid. That means that the class will actually be taught whenever you want. I'm sure the professor might have a video lecture up for you. It really depends on the professor's style, but it is asynchronous, so you do not have to meet class at a normal time. However, Fridays from 2 to 3:50 p.m., you do have to meet at a synchronized time with your lab. And yeah. And it does have a prereqs. You do have to already have Math 107 or Math 112 done. So you have to have passed those classes. before entering this class, or you can take it at the same time. So with this example, I did enroll us in Math 112, so it's completely okay to enroll in this class as well. You might run into an error just because you don't have the credit for Math 112 yet. If that's the case, go ahead and send the Geology department an email, call them. You could also look up the Math department. If that doesn't work, just contact a general advisor with Western and they can get you an override for that. In this case, this class is actually full, so let's see if there is a class that is available. Okay, right here, yeah. Okay, so this class is the same thing as the other one, except the lab meets from 12 to 1:50 p.m. This is the professor, and the credit is only 4, not 5 this time. And also, there is a fee to this class. So this will show up on, I guess, your account summary online. You do have to pay this plus the tuition with Western. So really keep an eye out for this. A lot of classes that are math and science will have hefty fees. So if you want to spread out, well, if possible, if you can, and if you want to spread out your math classes and science classes, you know, do math one quarter, do science another quarter, just so you're not spending all of these fees in one quarter, totally do it. Just make sure you're watching out for that if you're scared about, you know, money-wise and running out of money. I know a lot of students will really rack up on fees, so make sure you're paying attention to that. So let's go ahead and press the CRN code, and that will add it to our sheet here. And we are all good. We do not have any overlap at all, so this schedule is going to work for us. So you can go ahead and print this. I don't know if you guys know how to print it, but you could print to your printer at home, or you can save it as a PDF on your computer or laptop. You could take a screenshot of this through your phone, take a picture of it on your phone. So in this case, if you guys want to also learn about how to use the CRN and how to load that up and register for classes, I recommend writing these down really quick on a separate piece of paper, because I'm going to use these same classes and the CRN codes as an example for that. So that was pretty much it. That was Classfinder. Let's see. Let me go back to Classfinder and see if there is anything else. That's it. Yeah. So again, with Classfinder, you can look up all classes that are with Western. You can see the credit load to the classes, times and location, who the professor is, CRN codes, those are really important. The subjects to the classes, so that's just this right here, these little abbreviated words to it, and the GUR attributes, and that's especially important to you incoming freshmen, and that's over here. All right, thanks, and I hope you guys have a safe and healthy day.